computer. Lit, and we're live in 3, 2, 1. I know. We'll see. Okay. So, how does slavery impact the South economically? The first thing we want to talk about is the cotton engine. Can you see that? Kind of ish. I'm just gonna use, hang on. Okay, pencil's not gonna work. I left all my big Sharpies at home, so everything is just turning up Brita. This is fantastic. What a start back from spring break, am I right? All right, I got a pink one. Maybe that'll be better. I can always just use a Sharpie if I want to. All right, the first thing is that's the same thing. Maybe this green one will work better. Whatever. Cotton. I'm just gonna use a black one. I want to do everything in green because it's economic, and economic is the color of money. But I guess we can't have nice things. So this is the that's better, I think. Cotton engine, also known as the cotton gin. Can you see that better? Oh, a little bit better. Okay, it's getting a little better. All right. So I need your input. What was the cotton engine? What was the cotton gin? What did it do? Good. So cotton engine, a machine that separated cotton. Y'all remember my chicken scratch handwriting? It's back. A machine that's, I'm gonna move it even closer. Separated cotton. All right, there we go. Cool. So in your notes, when you're typing, you can start typing it in, because you all type like this. A machine that separated cotton. Okay. Y'all can close your 70 tabs and type in. All right. Anyway, so why do we care? Why is the cotton engine important? What effects does it have on slavery? Why do we care about this? Good. Made cotton more profitable. More profitable. Made cotton more profitable. Oh God, this is gonna be rough. All right, well, we've already started this, so we're gonna just keep going down this train. I'm gonna try to make my handwriting better, I promise. Cool. So it separates the seeds from the cotton, which makes cotton a lot more profitable. What effect does this have on slavery? All right, I'll say it this way. So because cotton becomes so much more profitable because of the cotton gin, it increases the demand. It increases the, I don't want to say the need, but slavery becomes so much more of a money maker. Because cotton is so much more profitable, the plantation owners are doubling down on slavery. So it increases whoops, demand for slavery. Can you guys see that? Increases demand for slavery. There's a little line right here where the cabinets are, so I couldn't write it. So all these plantation owners that are making a bunch of money already from cotton production, now the cotton gin comes along and they're like, wow, I'm making money already. I can make triple my money by taking my profits and buying more slaves. And I'm going to triple my money because this makes it so much more profitable. The cotton gin makes the cotton business so much more profitable. So they use it to drive slavery. Slavery really becomes a moneymaker for the cotton industry. I think I actually saw an article where it estimated the value of slaves to be worth more in the United States from like 1800 to 1860 to be worth more than like the entire state of Massachusetts and New York put together. I did some research on the cotton industry and on the world cotton supply of the 1800 to 1860s. And it was like, they said the estimated value of slaves was like 7 trillion or something like that in today's dollars. I don't know the exact numbers, but more than I thought. More than I thought. So this is the main idea I want you guys to get of here's the cotton gin. What did it do? Why do we care? What's its effect on slavery? That's kind of it. And I'm recording this so I can put it up on Google Classroom after as well. And I will even zoom in. So in your notes, maybe you have cotton engine, machine that separates cotton, makes cotton more profitable, increased demand for slavery. That's the main idea. This affected this. Okay, yada yada yada. There's also this helped make cotton what was known as quote king cotton because it was so important. So quote unquote king cotton. Cool. So as far as ways that the South kind of tried to justify slavery was that cotton became around, I think it's like 85 or 90%, 85%-ish of Southern economy. So cotton became 85% of Southern economy. So it's a big deal. So a lot of people at the time, honestly, you'll hear people today say this. I can't quite figure out what kind of people would say this, but a lot of people said at the time that slavery was a necessary evil because of money. Now, obviously, there's a lot of like terrible connotations that come with that. I don't believe that, but that is something that a lot of people did argue back then, was that slavery was a quote unquote necessary evil. Now, obviously, that's a lot of bad connotations, and you'll hear people today say this, even people from Alabama or whatever it was. But it's kind of crazy that the U.S. drove itself to war because society valued profits over Black humanity. But that's what, actually, I'm going to put that quote at the bottom. That's a great quote. Yeah, I like that quote. That's pretty succinct and hits the nail on the head. Do you guys want more time to copy any of this down in your Google Doc notes? Because you guys should definitely be taking notes on this. This will help you so much with Mastery Task 13. All right, I'll give you guys, about 6. I'll give you guys like 3 minutes. I should do this more often. This is probably really helpful. And I'm gonna sip my coffee while you do that. If you're watching this on YouTube, then like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell. Send me some fan mail, I guess. I don't know. Y'all should make me like teacher, YouTube, TikTok famous or whatever, like that Nicholas Ferroni guy. Give me another 3 minutes or so to type this in your notes. Take a walk. All right. Can I read the third one? Yeah, I'll do it. So I'll do each of these. Hang on. So a cotton engine, a machine that separated cotton. It made cotton more profitable, increased the demand for slavery. King Cotton. Cotton became 85% of Southern economy. Around 85%. That's not an exact number. I'm sure if I looked it up, I'd find a more exact number. And then under that, I put quotes. I put quote, necessary evil, unquote. So I put it in quotes because I don't want all of you leaving this class being like, well, Mr. Coble said slavery was a necessary evil. And then I look like a bum. But this is an argument that they used at the time, was that it was a necessary evil. And then the quote is the US drove itself to a civil war because they valued profits over Black humanity. And I think that sums up the economic part really well of how the slavery economically affected the South. All right, let me know when you guys are done. Move on to the next one. All right. We good? We ready for social? Yes. Oh, yeses. If you need more time, I'll have a recording of this and I'll put the recording up. A few more yeses. All right, so now we're on social. I'm just gonna keep going with the black Sharpie because that's the only one that seems to be working. So I'm a full send with this. Well, now I want to see if the other lights are making this better or worse. Is that better or worse? Same? That's worse, if anything. All right. Yeah, more light made it worse. Interesting. All right. So, oh my God. Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking orange would show up. That's not another color. So the next one is social. Social. So these are the social kind of impacts of slavery. So the first one, and this is one we talked a lot about, was dehumanization of slaves. So remember the stories that I had you guys read? And like we learned about like what life as a slave was like, both on a level that I lectured on and then also your story. This is kind of that. So what like did slaves have to go through? How are they dehumanized? How are they treated lesser? I'll say it that way too. Good. All right. So cruel punishments, long hours, harsh conditions, oh, they took away their names. Remember, a bunch of them are like, well, my last name was Jackson, and then I was bought by Master Greenberg, so now my last name's Greenberg. That's kind of what it was. Okay, names. Forced marriage. Ugh. Forced marriage. Oh, sold off their family. Right, there is that end of it, sold off their families. Sold off from parents. Forced religion is another one. Remember the middle passage? Made them think that it was supposed to be like that. Yeah, I like that one. Made them think that they were unequal and lucky. You guys remember the middle passage when they took the boat from Africa to the Caribbean and to America? It was like they're treated like cargo. I think no, that's not the most brutal thing I'm going to show you this year. There's something worse I'm going to show you this year later. All right, now how did they resist? How did slaves resist? Yeah, a bunch of them just said no. What else? It's run away. Run away. Refuse to work. God, now my handwriting is really getting put on display. Working slower. Work slow. Work slow down. Breaking equipment. What about violent rebellion? Can anyone remember the name of the guy that like led the big slave rebellion? All right, his name is going to be Nat, like Nathaniel, and then Turner. Oh, and then there you can also put Harriet Tubman on here. I think Harriet Tubman also works in this realm of slave resistance. Harriet Tubman, man. Harriet Tubman. Cool. So I think now, let's think about. So this is kind of the point of view from slaves of how slaves are really affected socially in the South. I want to talk a little bit about the other side though, and how what the mental gymnastics were on the other side of slavery and social factors. Let's talk about religion, which is one of the totally not controversial things to talk about ever in life. What was the role of religion on slavery? All right, guys. If you don't know, put IDK. I'll put this recording on Google Classroom. Yeah, maybe we'll take pictures, actually. That's a good idea. All right. So religion. Okay, so there's the forced Christianity. If you've ever been to the South, religion is pretty important. The big point I want to get at was they used religion to justify slavery. That's the big thing I want you guys to get. They used plantation owners and Southern ministers used religion to justify slavery. And they also said that, abolitionists. Can someone remind me what an abolitionist is? Thanks, guys. Abolitionists want to abolish slavery. What does abolish mean? Destroy, get rid of, good. Like, I'll give you an example. My hopes and dreams were abolished about, how old am I, 25? About 7 years ago. Abolish. JK, I'm living the dream, living the life. So they use religion to justify slavery, and abolitionists were called bad Christians. So they use religion. Got dark. Dark humor and self-depreciating humor is kind of my MO, in case you guys haven't gotten that yet. But they really use religion to justify slavery and to attack people that are against slavery. So This is kind of the big idea behind religion. So used religion to justify slavery. That's the big. Oh, also, Southern ministers wrote defenses of slavery. Southern ministers wrote the defenses of slavery. Okay. Now, last thing I want to talk about, and probably the most real one, racism. Now, the 1840s South, not surprising that it's racist, but what were things that they were saying that embedded kind of racism in society? So what were like quotes from those like speeches that I showed you? All right, so I'm just going to show some quotes. So some of the quotes were, quote, people are not born equal. So like these are some of the really racist things that they said that they wholeheartedly believed to quote unquote justify slavery. This was one of them. They said that the cornerstone of the Confederacy was that people are not born equal. Another thing kind of really racist that they said was that, well, I don't know if I want to write this down, but they said that like slaves should feel lucky that they're slaves. Like they said some really horrible things. I don't know if I want to write that down though. What else? I have on my sheet. I don't have it on my sheet. Religion, words and speeches. I think. Well, believed. They definitely believed white people were superior. That is not me saying that. That is their direct words. And even put quote marks next to it. They were really racist. Not even like diet racist or like trying to hide it racist, like proud of their racism. Anyway, I'll give you guys a little bit of time to type. So there's your sheet for social. Really, really populated this one up. I'll give you guys about 5 minutes to write. We really covered a lot this unit. Make a wish. The abolition. So let me know when you're done writing stuff down, or if you're like, Coble, I can't read your handwriting. I need you to, tell me what this says. I will also be okay with that. Yeah, I don't have any, it's not really quotes, but as far as the racist piece, they believed that people are not born equal. That's what they believed in the South, in the Confederacy. And they believed that white people were superior. Straight up. Like that's what they wholeheartedly believed and like proudly believed. Unapologetically believed. That's what I'm looking for. I guess something I do want to mention, because we're going to come across this when we get to Reconstruction at the end of the year, and we talk about after the Civil War ends what happens. These kind of ideas, like really racist ideas, convince. These convinced poor whites to, oh no, I'm running out of room, defend slavery. So remember, most of the South does not own slaves. It's like the top 10%, the plantation owners, are the ones that own all the slaves. They convince all the poor whites to join the Civil War, to fight for slavery, to fight in the Civil War and die because of like racism. They use racism to kind of convince poor whites that like this is the proper way of society and this is what God would have wanted. They really duped poor whites back then. Even today, no, I'm not even going to say back then. Like this is still a thing. You go to Arkansas and half the town's in poverty, and like they're not getting anything out of their leaders, and their leaders are still saying that they're doing the right thing. Like they're still being duped to death. I'm gonna. Well, no, that's me just saying that. That's not like a story. Well, no, I'm an expert on this. That's pretty accurate. Anyway, cool. All right, are we good? Are we ready to move on to political? Avocados from Mexico. All right, we're gonna move on to political. All right, I gotta move my whole setup though, because this desk is running out of room. Gotta move this air filter out of the way. All right, there's our political one. This is gonna get a little bit rough, but I'm gonna do my best. All right. So, how does slavery impact the South politically? First thing I want to talk about is the 3/5 compromise. What is the 3/5 compromise? IDK, that's fine. All right.
I kind of know, I think.
All right, go for it.
Okay, so you know when the South wanted to use like the people that they enslaved as votes,
Perfect.
but
Yep.
they still wouldn't treat them like people. Well, they decided, since you're not treating them like people, but you still want to use them as votes, how about we just do this, even though it's equally messed up? Pretty much.
Yeah, that's basically it. So the 3/5 compromise, so the founding of it was that the South wanted to count all of their slaves as people in the census so that they can get more power in the House of Representatives. But a lot of the northern states were like, no, you can't do that because you're not treating them like people. You're not giving them rights. You're not giving them ability to vote. So no, we're not going to let you treat that. We're not going to let you count. We're not going to let you count slaves in the census because that would give you disproportionately too much political power. In the southern states, we're like, no, but if we're going to join the United States of America, this is back in 1785 or whatever. If we're going to join the United States, this is something we want. We want to count our slaves in the census so we get more representatives in the House of Representatives in Congress. But not more senators, because every state gets 2. But the House changes, and Congress writes laws and all that stuff. So the compromise they made was that they counted slaves as 3/5 of a person in the census. So they counted slaves as 3/5 of a person in the census. Let me see if I can actually put this on a stack of books. Hang on, let me see if I can. Ah, on my knee. Oh, hold up. Oh. Holy crap. I'm good. God, that hurt. My bad knee. Stood it up. All right. So they counted slaves as 3/5 of a person in the census. That is the 3/5 compromise. What's the census? Make a little subnote. What's the census? Good. Census count of state population done every 10 years. So if the most recent census was done in 2020, last year, when's the next census going to be done? No, every 10 years. Good try. Appreciate the answer. 2030. Thank you. So the next census will be done in 2030. So basically, oh, there we go. So they got to count their slaves as 3/5 of a person in the census. They do the census every 10 years. Why does the census matter? What politically, why does the census matter? It affects what political branch? I'll put it that way. Years. Effects. Number of good representatives each state has in the House or Senate. Good, in the House. I'll put House of Reps next to it. All right, so that's the main idea. 3/5 compromise, count slaves as 3/5 of a person in the census. Census is a count of state population done every 10 years, and it affects the number of representatives each state has in the House. Cool, we got that. Now, what is the effect on this politically that this has on the South? If you were a Southern state, would this help you or would this hurt you? Actually, no, I'm just going to keep going. So what ends up happening is the 3/5 compromise gives plantation owners, because realistically, they're the ones calling all the shots. They're the ones helping get people that they want elected. People that are getting elected really have to answer to the plantation owners, not the poor whites. Gives plantation owners a disproportionate amount of power. What do you think I mean by disproportionate? Not quite. Let's say that in a world that they didn't count slaves on the census at all. Let's say that South Carolina has enough people for 5 representatives in the House. Right. They have, yeah. So you're on the nail, Ariana. So let's say if they didn't count slaves on the census, then South Carolina has like 5 seats in the House of Representatives. But because they're counting 3/5 of slaves in the census, now South Carolina, instead of 5 representatives, they have like 9 or 10 representatives. So it gives the state more population, more power. Now, the question I have for you is, what are slaves electing representatives? Are they voting for representatives that will fight for them? No, exactly. The people electing those extra representatives are plantation owners and yeomen, and basically people that have plantation owner support. Now, next question I have is we're gonna take a deviation from the 3/5 thing. Oh crap, it's 10:05. Do I have a meeting coming up right now? Hang on. Scheduling student. I'm finishing this anyway. I don't care. We're almost done. So racist justification of slavery. Well, we kind of went over this in this one, in the other one. So economic, they said, it'll ruin the Southern economy if they got rid of slavery. There is the religious aspect of it, religion, and then racism. Yeah. Bam. I do want to, the last political thing I do want to, and we saw this in the speeches, and we'll see this again when we look into the Southern secession documents that every Southern state makes about why they're leaving the Union. You're going to see these 3 things again and again and again. Last one is I want to talk about Southern voting block. So, South votes together during this time frame on a lot of things. They're aligned on slavery. Now, what happens if a representative does not vote in alignment with the rest of the South on slavery? This is supposed to say Southern politicians. That voted against slavery or with the North careers were ended. So if you were a Southern politician that voted against slavery or with the North, I'll underline that part too, your career was ended. So do you remember the really important Southern politician that like did all of this? I'll put it right here. I'm gonna put bad guy. Bad guy. John C. Calhoun. They got statues of this dude in North Carolina. He wasn't even from North Carolina. He's from South Carolina. And they have statues of him in North Carolina. I went to the Raleigh State House because I was like interested in seeing all the state stuff they had, and like huge monument of John C. Calhoun right in the middle. I'm like, bro, he was from South Carolina, not even North Carolina. Why do you got this guy up here? He was terrible too. Awful person. Anyway, there you go. That's your political one. I'll let you guys finish taking notes. I'm going to put this video up on Google Classroom. You can leave it done. Good seeing you all again. Oh. Look how much we learned about in the last 4 weeks. This is everything we learned about. Wow, we're incredible. Crazy. Actually, yeah, it's kind of insane. That's how much we learned about. We're gonna do these a lot. I think I'm actually gonna do these when we go back to school. I'm gonna do more. I want to do it on the whiteboard, but the glare is too strong. You can't see it unless you go top down. Even then. All right. Give you guys some more time to type in your 70 tabs. And yeah, stop recording.